Good day, fellow humans, and welcome to Morning Call for Monday, the 25th of March, 2019. Bit late again. It's almost not morning anymore. I had a lot to catch up on while I was away last week. A lot of stuff happened. I haven't put everything in the show, otherwise we'd be here for hours. But at least to catch up, I was pretty busy last week talking at podcasting conferences and such, and so I missed quite a lot. Yes, but let's get right into it. We have a lot to talk about, so get your coffee ready. There's enough catastrophes again. There's also some good news, I guess. First off, I wanted to mention we were talking about Stadia. Last week I was reporting on Google Stadia, and I was saying that I do not have that much trust in it because Google tends to kill products. And I think Galtarin in the Discord, discord.sixgun.org, by the way, posted a site that I hadn't heard about, but which is pretty cool. Apparently there's a Google cemetery, the gcemetery.co, which lists lots of Google things that have died, like on gravestones. You can like pay your respect in comments. This is great. Oh, look, Jaiku. I remember Jaiku. Man, if you look through that, you just get sad. There's there's some stuff I never used, like no. But man, Google Wave. Remember Google Wave? That was gonna be the next best thing. That was gonna kill email. Well, that worked. Google Buzz. Google Gears. My God. There's some really early stuff. Yeah, so great site. I hadn't heard of that. Pretty cool. Yeah, Google kills things. Good to know that there's a cemetery. Press F to pay respects. So a story from last week that I still wanted to mention because we were covering the 737 MAX 8 problems, and apparently there were safety features that could have prevented the crashes that weren't standard and that weren't in the planes from Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines that crashed, because they were paid for like extra add-on features. Ars Technica here reporting on this with a Sean Gallagher on Ars Technica with a register-worthy headline. They didn't buy the DLC. Feature that could have prevented 737 crashes was sold as an option. So as he says here, the New York Times reports that both vehicles, so the from Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines, lacked an AOA disagree light, a warning light that indicates when the aircraft's two AOA, so angle of attack sensors, provide different readings, and an angle of attack indicator. Since the MCAS system relied on only one of the aircraft's AOA sensors, the disagree light and AOA indicator would have given the flight crew visible evidence of a sensor failure and prompted them to disable the MCAS. But both of these features were sold by Boeing as expensive add-ons, and many discount and smaller airlines declined to purchase them as they were not required by regulators. So, to recap, MCAS, a system that will pitch the nose down on a plane that is, because they changed the weight distribution, relatively prone to go nose up, and then there's a danger of stalling the plane. So they built in this MCAS system, which was supposed to help the pilot and in certain situations pitch the nose down, but just connected it to one angle of attack sensor instead of two. And it seems like that what might have caused the crashes was just one sensor going like disagreeing with the other one sensor going haywire. And if that's the MCAS sensor, then the plane's thinking, oh, the angle of attack's wrong, I have to pitch the nose down. And in worst case, keeps pitching the nose down. And apparently the pilots didn't know what was going on. Otherwise, they could have switched off the MCAS. So I read some stuff. They were analyzing the earlier crash, the Lion Air crash in Asia, where they were going. It sounds like when the plane was going down, the pilots were looking like in the manual for what the hell was going on, and couldn't find it. So yeah, pretty bad. Pretty bad story. In related news, there are now the first airlines walking back their orders of 737 MAX 8s. So Garuda, Indonesia, never heard of them. It's Indonesian Airlines, but Indonesian airline, but they apparently ordered 50, so that can't be that small. 50 737 MAX 8s from 2014. And so that should be $5 billion apparently is like the list price for that. But they probably got like, it's we think that they got discounted, but still like it'll be billions of dollars. And they're saying we can't buy these anymore because passengers don't trust this plane anymore. Like we can't fly this plane. ASCII 115. I'm saying your full name for once. Just call you ASCII. Says they're the flagship carrier in Indonesia. Okay. I guess I've never been to Indonesia, so yeah, you learn something every day. Thank you for that. Cool. Yeah. So I'm guessing this won't be the last airline to say we can't ship us these planes. People are afraid of them now. In related news, there was news. Well, it's not related, but it's aviation. Let's put it that way. There news this morning that there are delays in Lufthansa flights in Frankfurt. This morning, Lufthansa had to cancel 22 flights because they have software problems in ATC. Air traffic control. Apparently, it's nothing serious. The Deutsche Flugsicherung DFS, so the German Air Traffic Control Association, it's actually a company, I think. I guess the story on Heise says they're a company that belongs to the German government. They have since Wednesday, apparently, they have tried to reduce traffic in German airspace for a quarter. Apparently, they're controlling this near Frankfurt. German airspace has been controlled from there, and apparently it's just some software that gives you metadata on like plane type, where it's going, flight plan, and the time it's going to be in your airspace. And apparently they have issues with that, so I guess they have to do more manual stuff. Still doesn't fill you with confidence, but I guess, it's software. Software has bugs, software problems. I wonder if this is like if there's an attack and they're just not saying. I'll keep an eye out for further news just in case this was like a ransomware attack or something. That would be quite a story. We talked quite a bit about the European copyright reform that is currently being pushed through the European government institution. It's kind of like it was kind of being fast tracked and went through like a lot of instances and looked like it was just gonna be ratified. And then, of course, in the last few weeks, there've been massive protests, especially in Germany. And now it's actually questionable if this reform will actually go through. I don't even know. Like I was actually wondering because I was at a podcasting conference in Cologne over the weekend, and there were some people going through the demonstration there. I would have really liked to go, but I kind of wanted to do the learn a bit about podcasting as well. But I felt a bit bad. But I guess there were a lot of people there. But I was kind of wondering like how the situation is in other European countries. I guess I can understand that in the UK they're not protesting against this. They have bigger problems, EU-related problems right now. But like I haven't heard anything from France or anything, or like the Netherlands, or I don't know. So if you know anything about that, just let me know in the chat or maybe the Discord. Just ping me. I'd be interested in that. Anyway, it looks like, well, it doesn't look like. I mean, it's gonna be decided in European Parliament tomorrow, and it now looks like it might not go through. It looks like at least the German SPD is saying thinking their members of the European MEPs, members of Parliament, will vote against it. Yeah, that would be a good thing. The people are saying this needs to happen are saying basically they're thinking if this doesn't go through this version, there won't be a new version. They'll have to start from scratch because apparently, well, not apparently, but of course there are European elections, I think in May. I think they're in May. And they'll have to in May. They're saying, if there's elections, the whole parliament, everything's gonna change, and they'll have to do a new law, which is my thing. Halifa says yes, vote against in the chat. I'm saying yes, they should. Definitely. I mean, you know my opinion on this. And there were massive protests over the weekend. So more than 100,000 people demonstrated in Germany alone. There were massive protests in Berlin, in Munich. As I said, there was demonstration in Cologne, and in other cities. I think 40,000 to 50,000 in Munich, 20,000 in Berlin. And then in almost 50 other German cities: Cologne, Hamburg, Leipzig, Stuttgart, Frankfurt. Massive protests, and even the conservative CDU members. I mean, there's the hardliners, like Voss, the guy who's pushing this through. Who are obviously they're so tied to this they can't back down. But there's a lot of there's a lot of members, even of the conservative bloc, that are going. Maybe we shouldn't do this like this. I'm not saying there shouldn't be a copyright reform at all. I personally think it should go in the other direction, but hey, that's me. But definitely the way this law is worded, this is not good. And I really hope they're not passing this tomorrow. Anyway, I will of course keep you updated on this, because if this passes, the whole internet's fucked, and we you should know. I'll let you know as soon as the memes are illegal. The register's reporting on Facebook lying again, they're saying. So looks like a attorney general in Washington who was this is I think part of the ongoing investigation into Cambridge Analytica, where Zuckerberg had to testify as well. And there are sealed emails that apparently say that Facebook knew of the Cambridge Analytica months before it broke in the press, and that always said they learned of it from the press, but it now looks like they knew beforehand. And it also looks like they were kind of trying to blackmail The Guardian, because The Guardian was reporting on this first, and they were trying to discourage them from publishing this. Now, of course, these are sealed, so I can read you what the register says here, but it's a bit funny. It doesn't tell you that much. The redacted request. So this is like the request from this guy, even the Attorney General Karl Racine. who's saying we need to unseal this, and there's a request to the court to unseal this. And the redacted request reads, the jurisdictional facts in the document shows that as early as September 2015, DC-based Facebook employee warned the company that Cambridge Analytica was a redacted. Asked other Facebook employees to redact it, and received responses that Cambridge Analytica's data scraping practices were redacted with Facebook's platform policy. Okay, I guess there was a lot of redacted, but like he's a attorney general. He's not gonna do this out of bullshit. Like, he's out of a career. I mean, the court knows about the emails, right? I mean, they're sealed, but like they're part of the case. So people who are party to the case, of course, like the judge and everybody's of course reading them. So it's interesting that it took that long. And what I find interesting is that Facebook hasn't been in damage control for ages, because if they submitted these documents, they must have. I mean, what were they hoping nobody was going to find that? I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting thing. But I really like the register, like, completely going to town on Facebook here, and the headline train wreck. I mean, the register is quite notorious for funny headlines and stuff like that, and often publishes opinion pieces as well. But usually they're not voicing opinion in, they're usually not editorializing in news stories. And if you read this, that is a whole new level. I mean, and good on them. I think this is a good thing. So the register writing here, the truth is that Facebook is a train wreck, with executives encouraged to do whatever they wanted in order to secure Facebook's position in the digital economy and bring in revenue, regardless of laws or ethics or morals or anything else. Its work culture is fundamentally broken, with top executives making it plain that the company will obfuscate, mislead, block, and bully before they even consider telling the truth. And that culture attracts more of the same. So we have Facebook stone cold lying about a VPN tracking app that was banned when discovered, including lying about the number of teenagers that were using it and lying about the age verification it claimed was in place. We have it lying about what it does with people's data and how. We have it going to enormous lengths to stop people from cutting the company off from its valuable data flows. And that's before we even hit the data sharing scandals and the fake news and the live streaming murder videos and the millions of passwords in plain text and the day-long outages explained as server configuration change. And now it turns out that it was even supplying its own version of the truth Now it turns out that it was supplying its own version of the truth when it came I think this sentence is broken. Anyway, when it came the crucial question of when it found out that Cambridge Analytica was abusing its systems. And faced with that exposure, what has Facebook done, given yet another baloney explanation? So basically what Facebook said here is like, so they were asked, like in court, basically, why do these emails say this? And they're like, oh, no, we were talking about another thing that Cambridge Analytica did, that's its statement. Its statement saying, like, basically this isn't an email about this data scandal with Cambridge Analytica. That's another shady thing they did. And then when the register, of course, asked them what was that other shady thing, they're not saying. Interesting. Facebook. Just can't even begin. I do like how clear here Kieran McCarthy writing on the register says it though. Good on them. Just very quick news about I don't know. There's a thing called Java Card. It's like a kind of an operating system that runs in smart cards. You can like put Java applets onto those cards, and then it can do like limited stuff like crypto and stuff like that. And that is used in a lot of like access control stuff, these smart cards, and in actually quite critical applications like high security, like banking and stuff like that. And apparently there's a lot of security vulnerabilities in the smart card system, to a point where if you can, now this is the little caveat here, you need to get malware on the card, which isn't impossible, but isn't easy to do. But if you can do that, you can just own everything, own the whole system, and I guess just get in. It's on SIM cards, payment cards, and embedded tech, but also often in companies. So there's the IT security company called Security Explorations, and their CEO Adam Godiak, who is actually quite known in this. I've read some stuff from him before. He says he's disclosed this to Oracle, and also Gemalto, which is a big manufacturer for these cards. They were the ones with the big SIM card cloning scandal. I mean, this might have been Gaudiac as well back in the day. Anyway, so there's security vulnerabilities here. They've not been fixed. The register saying neither Gemalto nor Oracle has responded to them on this. And there's 18 different security issues. So if you do anything with this kind of smart card, Java card stuff, you might want to look into this a bit closer. The register saying probably the earliest we can get a fix is April 16th, which is when the next critical patch update from Oracle is expected. But we don't know if they're even going to fix it then. So just be aware of that, just in case you're working with that. I thought it was interesting for you to know. In other security news, at Pound to Own, which is like this hacking conference where you can like own devices like browsers or even like phones or MacBooks or something, and then you can win the device. Sure, you rapper says Java right runs exploit everywhere. Yeah. They're never gonna live that slogan down, are they? So a team has hacked the Tesla Model 3 entertainment system, which apparently uses a version of Chromium, and they were able to exploit a bug in the JIT compiler, and then went with the browser to a compromised, like a website under their control, and they could own the system, and now they own a Tesla Model 3. Interesting. I just thought this was funny because Ponto-on usually just like laptops and phones, and now it's also the cars. Sign of the times, I guess. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for the hard hitting news. I got somewhat the fuck stories and one gaming story. So a thing that was just announced last week, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is coming, which is it's like an RPG. It's like a Bloodlines. The original Bloodlines is it's like a vampire RPG. I've never played it, so I can't. I can't really tell you if it's good or not. But I know it's beloved. There are people who love Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Absolutely just like adore it. I'm just looking up when it was released. That was 2004, because I had no idea. It's based on Vampire the Masquerade, which was a tabletop game that I think it's still going. Just looking that up. Yep, that is also still going. People love that. I think the setting's called World of Darkness. It's like this. I think there's also pen and paper games in that setting. It's just like it's beloved. Was I think originally designed by Monte Cook, or I think he definitely created a game based on World of Darkness. Anyway, people loved the first game, and so it's generally received as very good news that the second game is in development, set in Seattle this time, with the original head writer on board. And pretty cool. Yeah. It's 15 years old. Yeah, it is. Is it? Wow. That is, yeah, I guess. Wow. Did you have to say that? Show you rapper. It also says in the story, but did you have to say that? Now I feel really old. Man, 2004, that's 15 years. Holy crap. Yeah, well, good to see that the head designer, his name's Brian Mitsoda, is still on board. And they have actually, who was it? I think I saw on Twitter posting about this, I think Cara Allison. I think it says on this Rock Paper Shotgun story, because she used to write for them. So I think it's in this very long preview, by the way. If you Cara Ellison, yes, she used to write for RPS. Looks really good. Looks really modern. I mean, this came out as part of Games Developer Conference as well, GDC. Yeah, and it has like all these systems. I don't know why I never played the original. I guess I was never really into vampires. I might look at this one. I just thought you might to know. Pretty cool. And then I have two more stories, or two more what the fuck stories. This oh man, Google like fucked up with their online conversion thing. You know, when you enter like what's €1 in dollars or something, and they for some, they say the technical error for a while said that the cedi, I don't know, it's the currency of Ghana, was worth a fourth of what it was actually worth, which prompted like people on social media going crazy, and the Google like spokesperson for like the for that area had to actually write to Ghana's Minister of Finance and just like kind of, I guess, apologize. So it says here on the register, the resulting confusion surfaced online and across social networks, but fell short of mass panic. Other more reliable sources of exchange rates provided a reality check, though the snafu nonetheless prompted Titi Akinsanmi. He could also almost be Finnish. This almost sounds Finnish to me. Google's head of public policy and government relations for French-speaking Western Africa sent a little note to Ghana's Minister of Finance and the governor, the Bank of Ghana. Yeah, Google, you've got a lot of responsibility with this crap. Maybe the currency converter is now very soon joining the Google graveyard. But then I thought an even better what the fuck story. Lithuanian, here on Bleeping Computer, Lithuanian pleads guilty to stealing $100 million from Google and Facebook. So this guy going to jail, possibly for 30 years. Just send invoices to Google and Facebook, and they just paid. And he made more than 100 million. So he basically set up in Lithuania, he set up like companies with names. One was like a Taiwanese chip manufacturer, I think. And basically he set up a company with like the same name in Lithuania, then like faked their like stamps and everything, and faked like work reports for work that was never done, sent that to Google and to Facebook, and they just paid. And they paid millions of dollars. And so this guy apparently also did some business email compromise, and just got into, between 2013 and 2015, got into just got access to accounts of companies and then used those. Basically was saying he was the company, I guess, and then got Google to send money to those accounts of the like legitimate companies, I guess, but he had access to it, and then just funneled the money around. I love it. So Google says in response, "We detected this fraud and promptly alerted the authorities. We recouped the funds and we're pleased this matter is resolved." Yeah, that was after you paid. How much did Google pay? Like 23 million? This was after you paid 23 million to the guy. Then you detected it. Oh, I'd love to hear the story of like the guy who just noticed at Google's like, so that data center we now have in Lithuania, what do you mean? What data center? Yeah, well, we paid for this data center down there. What? No, we don't have a data center in Lithuania. I mean, no, what are you saying? We actually did pay for, we paid for this. This is the invoice. Like, no, man, we don't have a data. Man, that I would have paid a lot of money to be in that room. That must have been great. Yeah, that's it for today. Just one more hint. One more little tip I want to give you. Tomorrow is the release date of Tiamat's Wrath, i.e. Book 8 in The Expanse story. If you're an Expanse fanboy like me, you've got it pre-ordered, so it'll arrive tomorrow on my Kindle. I hope tomorrow morning. Don't know when. Best be after the show, otherwise the show is not going to happen. Like the last Expanse book, I was staying up till like 4 at night reading it. Yeah, but I'm really excited. It's been a while. Let's see how much how much they aged this time. Anyway, I'm excited. So there's 9 books slated in the Expanse series. Like if you discount like the little short stories and other stuff they did. So this is the penultimate Expanse book. I thought you should know that. And if you haven't heard of The Expanse, watch the series on Amazon or read the books. So you've got till tomorrow to read 7 books. You better get cracking. Anyway, if you're reading The Expanse or not, I just hope you have a good day today. And I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news. I'm planning to do shows every day in the week again this week. After that, I think next week I have some days off. I think over April 1st and stuff, I'll take some days off. But this week should be full service. I'm endeavoring to give you as much content as possible. And with that, I'm gonna run away because when I started this show, this is like what 40. What episode is this? Oh God, I don't even know. But I can look in my podcatcher because for quality control reasons, I'm of course subscribed to my own podcast. I am subscribed to a lot of podcasts though. There we go. So this is 40. Oh, show 47 as auspicious number for a Trekkie. Yes. So when I started this, I was aiming for 15 minutes. It's now 33 minutes into the show. Yeah. So I'm gonna run away. See you tomorrow for more tech news. Until then, live long and prosper.